Hey everyone, welcome to the video. For those that haven't seen the previous videos that we have done, this is the tiara that we've been slowly making / I've just done quick little tutorials which aren't difficult, and you don't have to make this exact thing. It was just more the techniques that are helpful. So what we've done so far is make a flower. We've done simple single beads where I've basically just told you what a tiara twist was, a different type of flower, ones where the bead protrudes forward and somewhere it sits in the middle, entirely up to you guys. And then the last one I just did was a tree / kind of reminds me a bit of is it Hanukkah, those with the candelabras, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so those are the previous videos that I'm going to link down below in the description box. If you haven't seen those so far, please go and watch them. I've just done this little short intro now because I had done another one, but I had originally planned to show you, attaching the beads and then show you this video, but unfortunately this video ended up being a bit longer because whilst I was figuring things out to do this tiara, it then kind of needs to be a video on its own, so that's a separate video. Basically this video is just me finishing off this tiara and adding on the beads very easily, very simple. Nothing too difficult there for you all if you know how to do that, but if you've been making bits of the tiara so far, you might be interested in this video. So yeah, if you like this, then please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, as that really just support me and help me a lot. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, like I say, in the next video it's going to be this tiara where I show you, I've tried 3 different techniques to attach the beads, and I tell you which one's my favourite in the end and what I'm going to do from now on. So yeah, but that's the next video, so if you're interested in seeing how I attached the beads and finished off this tiara, then keep on watching. Hey guys, so to begin with, we're going to take a length of wire. So I'm only going to be including the amount of what I end up using, and I will probably end up taking more than one length. Now you could do it all in one go, but simply because, one, I don't want the wire kinking on itself. So if you've ever been using an excessive amount of wire, you'll probably notice that it will at some point end up twisting over itself, and you end up with a bit like this in the wire. And as much as you can go back on itself, it's just a little bit of extra meh for me that I can't be bothered with, because then you always have that little bit where you can still kind of see it, and even if you do manage to straighten it out, it's just a bit of a pain. So I'm just going to cut that off because that's annoying me now, and I did that on purpose myself. So as much as you can do that, and you can straighten it out with a pair of wire straighteners or nylon coated pliers, I'm just not about that today. I'm not interested in doing that little bit of extra energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 30 centimetres because that is just a comfortable amount for me. Okay, so I've just anchored that there, and I'm going to just crimp this in place. Now this is still movable along the base, and it will be for quite some time. Basically, unless you glue everything in place, you're probably still going to be able to move things. So I'm going to take a bit of bead onto a wire, and what we do is I bring the wire up, so you can either wrap it literally like that, or as I prefer to do it, I like to get it so that the bead is going to sit like this. You can see that there, so it's sitting up. Is that end frame? Yep, not blurring. Okay, good. So I pull it like this, pull it like that, and then pull it down. Yep, that's clear on camera. And then pull it over, and I'm just adjusting it, making sure it doesn't move. Well, it doesn't move from the point where I've fixed it. So when we look at it here, I might need to move my setting if I just do this a moment, is that clear? You know, I might have to switch beads because I think wrapping gold onto the gold is going to be difficult for you guys to see. But yeah, basically that's what we're doing. Now obviously because these aren't rondelles, they're going to sit slightly different. These are a bunch of nuggets. So they actually have a side that is flat, most of them. So that will actually be easier for us to wrap against the frame. But at least I have shown you know what I do prefer doing myself with rondelles. So let's take this, put it on the wire. Also make sure you know the drill hole will go through. Usually a 0.4 will, but it's always something you should check. And I've done a couple of wraps in between here. And then I might need to change the colour of the wire as well. I didn't think this through very well, did I guys? So let's, the thing is that obviously when you're doing it, you want the wire to be invisible, but when I'm doing it, I need to show you all. It's not a great idea. So, a couple of wraps again. And then we'll attach another bead / pearl. Okay, so we're going to put the bead over the wrapping that we've got here. So there's the wrapping of the flower and we're going to wrap the bead basically over that. It may take a bit of negotiating with the wire. There we go. So it's now sat over the wrapping that we had there. Move these out of the way and then fix it in place again. 2 wraps over and down. And if I put it back here like this, you can see now that the wrapping is hidden behind the pearl. And you can twist that closer if you want or play a part. And that's basically what we then do across the entire frame to fix them in place. Now of course I can still move these, it's not impossible. Like here we go, like I said, the only thing that's really going to stop that is putting glue on them, but at least where you decide to put each add-on, should we call them, each decoration. So I'd put probably, I don't know, 2-3 more pearls here and then I'll have that, so then these aren't going to be, you know, getting connected to each other if I put a few. So 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, and then they'll sit separately on the frame, whereas as you saw before, because they were able to slide around, they were getting attached. So again, you could just glue them, but it's just a nice little bit of extra detail that shows that, you know, you've put a bit more care and effort into your jewellery. These are all different size nuggets, because again they're nuggets, but most of them I'm going to go out on aluminium. They're all between 0.5 and 1. Yeah, they're all between 0.5 and 1 millimetre, I'd assume, but they're not exactly small. So we're just going to wrap a few more on the frame, and then by the end of that I'll probably get to the point where I would need to use more wire. So I've done another bead, a couple more wraps, and then I'm just going to attach this one same way we did before over. And this one does have a flat side, but it's a bit more difficult. But I thought I'd show you, you know, they're not all going to be exactly perfect. These are nuggets, so I'm just going to attach that there and pull tightly. And again, then wrap over once, twice. And because I doubt I'd be able to get a third, you know, another extra one out of that, I'm just going to wrap that down again and do that there. I will secure that later, but I'm going to do that at the end. So for now, I'm just going to leave it like that. So there we have our little frame. And one thing I will say is, you know, I've only used 30 centimetres there, and that's taken, you know, we've put that distance between them, we've got the separation, and we're just going to run across the rest of the half of the band. Again, I'm not doing the full thing, so I'll probably end up using probably about 90 centimetres, looking at the amount we've used here. You know, that's the amount there, 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 and depending whether, you know, we could do that to there, do some beads on its own, and then do these again over here. It's entirely up to you how you organise the band itself and where they sit on it, so don't think that, you know, you have to follow this exactly, just have fun and create a way. So I'm just going to add some more beads, because it's literally the exact same no matter whether I'm wrapping over this or a tree or what. You're just attaching it to the band, and even if you aren't, you know, like over here when we just put them on immediately, you know, without anything to wrap over, it was just simply wrapping it over the band. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this section. Be careful not to, you know, catch the upper bit of the wire in when you are doing this, because it is very easily done, you know, when you've got other things you're focusing on. Don't confuse yourself any more than you will naturally. Or you could just type that in rather than saying it. Okay, so we're about to attach basically, this would either be the last bead or you could do 2 more afterwards. I did only take 10 centimeters, and now I'm thinking I probably should have took 20 and gone with a meter worth rather than the 90 centimeters I assumed at the beginning. But it's not the end of the world, so I'm just going to slip this on and just be careful of, obviously, whereas it was slightly difficult with these bits here, making sure you didn't catch it. Obviously you've got a lot more you can end up catching on here, so just be aware of that. So I'm just going to, yeah, so I'd have taken a meter rather than the amount I took of 90 centimeters. Anyway, so this is slightly not at the beginning, in the middle now, so I'm just going to move this over a little bit. It's easily done, just move one end slightly, push it all up together, and yeah, that's probably about right. Okay, I'm just straightening that up. Again, this isn't perfect in any way, shape or form, it's just a very rough how I would then attach everything. Okay, so there we have it, our tiara, and again I would have done a couple more beads at the end at the very least, but I'm not going to do that now because you can see obviously I've just attached beads to the base, and you can move them but it just becomes slightly more difficult. And this is where I would go around and make sure, you know, I cut off any extra lengths. So take this here, pull it as tight as I can, get in there. Probably take a thinner pair of pliers actually. I take my thinner ones here, thinner flat nose ones here. Can we see that on camera? Yep. And then get in there, you know, crimp that down. Take this. I mean, I could have done it as I was going along, but sometimes it's just easier. And then what I would also do is add glue with my E6000, you know, making sure all the ends are down, nothing's coming up. And also that's why I like to do this at the end, because if, again, like I just did then, I wanted to move it, and if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known where to go. Oh, put those pliers to the side, use these ones. Anyone else do that, even when you're using like a specific pair of pliers for a particular job, because you've got your other ones that you just always use, you just automatically grab them ones. Just me. Yeah, so make sure all of these are flat against the base, crimp them down properly, make sure they're not going to hurt anyone, and again I would then use E6000 and glue. Don't do it too much that, you know, it's covering everything. You don't want big dollops of glue all over your tiara, but you know, just a little bit to make sure, you know, the ends aren't sticking up. And then the beads in here. Also, one good thing, because these beads are like this, you know, if you did decide to put a glue you know, just say in here, like behind the beads, like no one's going to be able to see that. So there you have it, you know, beads attached to the frame, and I've used a lot of nuggets there. And again, I would have for the front of the tiara, I would use at least 1 meter worth, because I would have liked, actually, I think, you know, I could have gone to, you know, halfway and to there and there, which would have been probably at least another 50 centimeters. So 150 centimeters, and then you could go, you know, halfway around. But again, depends on the size of the wire, the size of the frame, the size of the beads. But there we are. So this is the tiara that we've slowly been building, and next I'm going to do basically the exact same attaching beads, but we are going to be using a different style.